Hi everyone, welcome. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. My name is Laura Nelson. I'm Director of Marketing at Broadly.com, where we collaborate with local businesses just like yours on their online presence and client reviews. So every day I get to talk with partners like our NADCA partners on the topics of standing out online. I'm going to talk today about how you can position your business to stand out for the purposes of attracting new customers. These are the types that you want and the types that you want to keep coming back to you so that you can grow your customer base. We're going to also talk about how you should think about your marketing budget. How should you proactively invest in growing word of mouth? I'm really hoping to give you some concrete takeaways today that you can put into practice right after this webinar. So let's get started. Let's start with you. You've been in your community maybe 5, 10, 20 years. Maybe you have a huge customer base already. Or maybe you're looking to open up in the next coming weeks or months. In either scenario, you've got employees, you've got an office perhaps. You definitely have equipment, insurance, other bills to pay. You've invested years into perfecting your craft. And we know that the demands on your time as a business owner, they're massive. You're across serving customers, managing your staff, managing inventory and your equipment. You don't have a lot of time to think about marketing your business and think about where your next customer is going to come from. We all know that word of mouth, they bring some of your best customers over the years. But you might not have enough of that. So let's start with understanding them better before we talk about strategies for growing word of mouth. As a marketer, I like to think of your customer as a modern consumer. This is the persona we talk about a lot here at Broadly. We call this one Elsie. So she's our typical modern consumer of 2017. Elsie's married. She owns a house, she has a couple kids, she works full-time as a school teacher. So you might find that Elsie resembles you in many ways, or certainly your average customer. Elsie's well-connected. So if she needs an answer to an everyday question, she's going to Google. She's looking for a restaurant, she goes to Yelp. She's booking a vacation, she doesn't do anything before she goes to TripAdvisor. So the reality today is that the internet's in our pockets. You know this already. So we don't have to be tech savvy or internet geniuses to use it in our everyday lives. So when someone like Elsie or you or I need to solve a problem and find a local business, whether that be a pediatric dentist, a roofer, a veterinary professional, or need someone for duct cleaning, we ask our friends for recommendations, or we may turn to our smartphones or computers. In fact, we're not alone. 80% of consumers are doing just this. They're going to search engines like Google to find local information. So let's talk through what that looks like. You've seen this before. It's a familiar screen. Whether you're on a mobile device, a laptop, an iPad, something else, we're going to Google when we have a need or a problem we want solved. So let's say Elsie's looking for a duct cleaner in her area and she isn't sure who to call. She's going to pull up Google. Let's take a look at what comes up next. So when you do this kind of search in Google, toward the top, you're going to see a map with 3 choices. We call this the Google 3-pack. So here you're seeing 2 choices in Elsie's area. You might find some ads on top of this, and you'll definitely see some organic search results below the 3-pack. So if you were to type in the category of your business and the name of your city, hopefully you're showing up in this area or just below it. Your competitors certainly will. So take a look at this example and see what stands out. Who are you going to choose? And why are you going to choose them? So reviews really help ensure that this choice is clear. So if you're the typical modern consumer like Elsie, your eyes are going to go to Ozone. The customer reviews really help differentiate that choice. So think about that. What are these stars and how do you get them? These are the reviews written by Google users. These include the people who have Google accounts like Gmail. So how do you get a customer to go here and write you a review? It's hard, but it's not impossible. These reviews are super important to consumers. In fact, 88% of people trust online reviews as much as they trust word of mouth. Consumer opinion is really driving decision making. What you and I are learning about local businesses on Yelp, on Facebook, on other platforms like Google, it's as important to us as what our friends and family members are saying. Reviews matter. And if you're a 5-star business, reviews are driving revenue. So how do you compete in that kind of environment? How do you get there? That's what I'm here to talk with you about today. In today's environment, it's increasingly important to build a stellar online reputation, and you can become part of that process. The internet is complicated and the world is changing, and yes, you'll have to deal with Google, Yelp, and the others. There's algorithms that determine search results that we can't all quite nail down, and lots of options when it comes to marketing. But I know that there are things that you can do to give yourself a powerful boost in a really cost-effective way. A huge part of that is investing in word-of-mouth marketing. We'll get to that in a few minutes, but first I want to cover some of the fundamentals. Your reviews can't shine unless your business listings are set up right and look great on these pages. So I want you to get proactive about the most important pages for your business online. What are these pages? They are your Google listing. They are your Yelp profile. They are your Facebook business page. And it also includes your website. Don't discount the importance of your website. So all of these pages working together form a strong foundation for your business's online presence. So you might be thinking, hey, I don't read reviews, it doesn't matter. But the data I showed already proves that your customers are, and so are the customers that you're trying to attract. What's more, if they get a recommendation from a friend, they're still going to go online to look you up and learn more. They need to know how to get in touch with you. So why these 4 pages? Nothing's going to rival Google, Yelp, and Facebook in terms of being found and chosen by that type of customer you're trying to attract. So let's talk about Google. Most people are familiar with how to use Google. It's pretty simple to use, as you well know, and as I showed you in that example. However, if you're a business owner and you're trying to stand out online, the mechanics of Google are quite complex. There are fundamental things that you can control on your listing, though, that will ensure that your business is found and chosen on a Google search. Here's an example of why that's important. Google's data suggests that even the smallest of improvements to your business listing can make big improvements in your ability to stand out in local searches like the one I showed. For instance, by adding your business hours, you can boost click-throughs to your website by 42%. That's the goal, right? To get more prospective customers to visit your website. So what does that look like? How do you make these kinds of improvements on Google? Now, what you're looking at here is your typical Google listing. That's on the right side. So take a look at this one. This is a free listing provided by Google to help connect consumers to businesses like yours and literally puts you on the map. So almost every business has a Google listing, and if you don't think you have one, it might look something like this. It's got a street photo of your location, maybe a little bit of information about you that Google is guessing is true, but generally it's a blank slate. So for free, you can activate your Google listing and provide more information to connect to your target customer. For instance, you can add photos, you can verify your address and phone number. You can suggest changes to Google's data, such as your business hours. You can also show off your client reviews. So every business owner has the opportunity to claim this listing or create one if it doesn't exist today. Let's take a look at this in detail and see why ozone stands out in that local search we did earlier. So note how the photos, additional info, and customer reviews provide real context. Ozone's added photos and updated their branding. They've generated 36 Google reviews. They've offered prospective customers a real reason to choose them. I want to talk about the number of Google reviews you should have and how Ozone has 36 reviews. So how many do you need? I get this question a lot, and the answer really depends on your area and what your competition looks like. You might need more if you're in a competitive area with lots of duct cleaners. The first few reviews, they're always suspect. We know they come from family and from friends, so you'll need more than that for your real customers, from your real customers, before you can stand out and shine. By getting the basics right, though, you'll be more likely to attract visitors to your website and get calls to your business. Think about how 5-star reviews are working for or against your business. Businesses with 5-star reviews are more likely to drive prospective customers to their listings and to their websites. That's a goal, right? So these numbers are provided by Google and they're powerful data points. So how do you understand what your Google listing is doing for your business? So let's take a look under the hood, behind the scenes of a Google listing. Visit Google My Business and log in to see this information. And access to this information is free. Be sure that you're taking advantage of the insights available to you from your free Google listing. From here, you can see how customers are finding your business. Is it through direct or organic search? What I mean by that is direct, when consumers type in your business name. We call that a direct search. Are they doing that and clicking through your listing to get to your website? The other category, discovery. Is this when someone is typing in the category of your business, such as the example we showed earlier, and then discovering you through that process? These insights enable you to understand that better and what's happening in your area. You can also learn how customers are finding you. Are they finding you in local search, or are they finding you in maps? This graph enables you to understand that information. Understand your customer actions. This graph enables you to track your page visits and your phone calls. These numbers don't lie. Again, this is how your listing is driving the right kind of activity to your business. Ask yourself and understand from this if it's inspiring action from that prospective customer. Finally, ensure that your phone calls are accounted for. Understand the patterns of customer phone calls from your Google listing. You can look by week, by month, and more from this chart. Here's one of the most important aspects of your Google listing. This is where you can read and respond to all of your customer reviews. So this feature and all of the features that I shared, these graphs and charts, are available through your Google My Business listing, and they're available to you for free if you claim your listing. I want to switch gears now and talk about Yelp. The data proves that Yelp is the most popular review site with 100 million users per month on their platform. Many of them are coming from mobile devices. Number of reviews on the Yelp platform is staggering. They have 135 million total. Finally, many of you may think of Yelp as a platform for restaurant reviews, but consumers and homeowners, they're increasingly writing about their experiences with all types of business, including yours, on the Yelp platform. 19 million reviews are about home and local services businesses just like yours. So Yelp matters to your target customers. And here's how you should take advantage. Because as I mentioned previously, you can take advantage of your Yelp profile for free. So So here's a good example of what that page looks like once it's claimed and improved. Take a look at this one. I want to underscore that it's free to take advantage of your page. What I mean by that is claiming it. You can provide a bio, photos, additional content on your page, add your hours, your address, your website, and contact info. You can do all of this for free. You might not think that photos are important to homeowners and visitors to your page, but they are. Yelp says that users spend 2.5 times as long on listings with photos. So photos are an easy way to improve your page and boost your chances of getting a call from a prospective customer. So you don't need to pay Yelp to do anything on your page, and you can't pay Yelp to get the part that matters most, which is the customer reviews. This is why people are going to Yelp in the first place. It's perhaps the most popular review site, and they're going to read your reviews. So when you've claimed your Yelp listing, you're going to gain access to your page stats as well. This is the initial dashboard you'll see. So you can access this from biz.yelp.com. This includes a summary of what's happening on your page front and center, shows the number of visitors your page is getting. Pay attention to that. And below that graph, you're going to see a stream of what's happening on your page, including who's visited and where they go from there. On the left side, you're going to see a number of options. This is where you can update your business information, such as your hours and your website. Here's where you'll also add those photos. You can see your reviews from this tab too. This is probably the most important area of the page, where you can view and respond to those Yelp reviews. I talk with business owners all the time who have misconceptions about their Yelp page and the free things that can be done with it. So this example here, this is the Broadly page. We don't advertise with Yelp, and we don't need to in order to take advantage of these free features. I want to switch gears now and talk about Facebook. Facebook is really important to businesses, even businesses like yours. Here's the reality. 76% of users are logging into Facebook on a daily basis. Not only are they coming frequently, but they're spending a lot of time on the platform. Thought this was particularly interesting. I learned this straight from a Facebook executive a couple weeks ago. The average user is viewing 300 feet of newsfeed per day. That's equivalent to the height of the Statue of Liberty. However, their attention is scarce. They spend 1.7 seconds evaluating each and every story. Not a lot of time to grab their attention. But where does your business come into play? Here's how the business community is utilizing the Facebook platform. Over 70 million small businesses have active pages on Facebook, and over 60% of Facebook users like at least one business page. So what does that mean for you? Is your business's page working for you? So as with Google and Yelp, every business can set up a page on Facebook for free. You can take advantage of basic features like adding photos, listing your hours, your contact info, and your website, and more. You may have done that already. However, I want to point out that Facebook has gotten increasingly complex over the years and expanded their offerings. You can now message directly with customers and prospective customers through the Facebook platform. You can also add call to action buttons, scheduling appointments, or booking now. People can click to call right from your Facebook page too. These options enable you to convert browsers into buyers. Perhaps most importantly, you can get reviewed and you can get recommended right from the Facebook platform. So take a look at this example. You might have seen this feature before. And as such, it's critical to build an excellent reputation on Facebook to match that recommendation. you can see that that recommendation carries that star rating front and center. So my advice is to take Facebook seriously. This is just another way to be present and relevant where your customers are hanging out and telling their friends about local businesses that they trust, including yours. So we've talked about the importance of setting up your online listings correctly and showing off great customer reviews. I want to shift gears now and talk about how you invest your marketing dollars. There's tons of marketing options at your disposal, but let's simplify for a second and look at your options in 3 broad categories or buckets. These are advertising, your website, and word of mouth. So think about where you get a return. You need to make choices about how you market your business and where you spend your dollars. You're familiar with advertising both online and offline. This was the Yellow Pages in the past. Now it's SEO, it's AdWords, it's display ads, it might be Yelp ads. It's any product that gets your brand in front of consumers. So your website is another category. Likely you've made some investments here. Use advertising and offline or online word of mouth to direct prospective customers to your website so they can learn more, and hopefully they give you a call. So today we're going to continue talking about this idea of word of mouth marketing and where you can make an investment. Specifically, I want to talk about how you can play a proactive role in growing word of mouth. After all, many of you say that's where your best customers come from. So when we've talked about word of mouth in the past, it's typically been a conversation offline where community members have told each other about businesses they trust and would recommend to others. And traditionally, this has been free advertising for you, right? You did great work and you hoped that your happy customers told their friends. So these days, word of mouth has shifted online to the form of online reviews. We've established that they're trusted by consumers, often more so than advertisements. Word of mouth these days also is no longer always free. So you may be wondering, how do you make a proactive and smart investment in reviews in terms of a process and your marketing dollars? You may be wondering, how do you grow word of mouth? It all starts with creating a system to thank your customers and ask about their experience. Are they satisfied with the service you provided, or is there a lingering issue that you need to fix? You're not going to know either until you ask them. This needs to be an automatic part of wrapping up an appointment. So let's pause for a second. I will admit that this is scary. If you haven't done this before, you may feel nervous to try. You might be thinking, well, what if my customer says something bad? What if I'm putting an idea into his or her head to complain? What if I'm bothering customers by asking? I'm here to tell you today that it doesn't matter. You have to do this anyways. You have to signal to your customers that you care. The good news is that if you're running an honest business, then the majority of your customers are satisfied. And if you make it easy, you're going to start getting their 5-star feedback once you ask for it. So let's talk about how this works and how you're engaging with customers to get your feedback. You can ask in a variety of ways. You can ask for their feedback in person. Take it upon yourself or ask your team to ask them on the job. You can also call them on the phone at a later time once the appointment has wrapped up. You can send them an email or a text message, leveraging technology. Or you can send them something like a postcard or survey in the mail. So the important thing to think about is what works best for your business. But also don't forget, you have to think about what works best for your customers too. Which of these are they most likely to respond to? Let's talk about the advantages of some of these ways. So you might be asking for your customers for feedback in person already. Think about how they react. Do they give you honest feedback, or do they tell you what they think you want to hear? If you hear great feedback from your customers on site, what happens next? The good word disappears into thin air. So there's some advantages to this approach. You're making eye contact, you're making the ask personal. But the downside is that the customer may not feel comfortable providing that feedback, and they might not tell you everything that's on their minds. So let's look at another option. Paper feedback forms are probably familiar to you, and perhaps many of you have been asking for feedback through a client survey already. This is quite common. However, the reality is that surveys like these don't have a high engagement rate. They're too impersonal, they're often long, and it can be too big of an ask. So I want to challenge you to think of a better way. Even if your customers do engage with this kind of survey, again, this information is not translating to Google or to Facebook or to your website's testimonial page. It gives you information, but it doesn't provide that social proof that you do provide quality service. So think of a better way. I want to encourage you to not only think about how you're asking for feedback, but what you're saying. At Broadly, we lead with the sentiment of thank you. That way, we're not directly asking for reviews, but we're first thanking that customer for trusting us and partnering with us. We couple that with technology. Consider sending that note of thanks by leveraging technology. Here's an example of what that looks like from the Broadly platform. There's an advantage with technology as compared with other options that we talked about. It's immediate, but it's not too intrusive. What's more, technology enables you to focus on other things, like working with customers. So our recommendation is to adopt smart solutions to become more efficient with your marketing dollars and your time. So a simple note of thanks leveraging smart technology can enable you to send happy customers to your public listings with just one click. You can also direct unhappy customers to other destinations and collect their feedback privately and offline. By putting a system in place that works like this, though, you'll start to get reviews. And getting reviews means you're going to start showing up higher in search results and attract more new clients. Finally, I want to address the issue of negative feedback for a minute. Perhaps you know from experience how much a negative review can hurt. It hurts when Yelp or Google won't take those reviews down, even when they're false. And it hurts when other potential customers see that as useful in their search. So hiding from all of this is not an option. If you haven't seen your page, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And doing nothing can lead to very few reviews in general. Many times it's the people who don't have something nice to say who are the first to run online and write a negative review about your business. So here's the deal. The best strategy to combat a negative review is to get more positive customer reviews. So those one-star reviews make less and less of an impact when they're surrounded by loads of 4- and 5-star reviews from your happy customer. Because at the end of the day, reviews are driving revenue. So consider this case and how growth in reviews have translated into more dollars for the business and greater investments. These are powerful stats, and these are goals that you should aim for with your own business. The goal here is to become a 5-star business. This ensures you show up, you stand out online, which means you can attract the types of customers you want. You can charge prices for the services that your 5-star business commands. And you can establish your business as the premium choice in your area. So I hope that was useful, and it was clear that feedback and reviews are the currency of the internet today, and that you need to invest in word-of-mouth marketing to make this work for you. So get proactive and become part of that online conversation to attract more clients offline. Broadly's not an advertising company, but we've built a system for generating great word of mouth in the form of online reviews and getting those positive reviews on Google, Yelp, Facebook, and your website. We also keep that negative feedback offline and get that to you privately. If you'd like to learn more, we can take a look at your pages and give you some pointers on how you can improve. It's definitely worth a couple minutes of your time. Otherwise, get in touch with me. My info is here, Laura@broadly.com. You can also give me a call. Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much for joining us, and have a great rest of your day.